Well, the Patriots have returned home west from their trip out in Las Vegas, relatively healthy, and in to talk all the latest injuries and buzz off the field. Dr. Paul Fadale from University Orthopedics. We're thrilled to have him for another season here. Talking Patriots. Doc, how was your summer, first and foremost?
It was great. Nice and warm, just the way we like it.
Just the way we like it.
Perfect.
Exactly. Super dry up until the last couple weeks, and it's been a pretty good season so far for the Pats through the preseason. Injury-wise, they've been pretty healthy up until this point. Bill Belichick speaking today, before practice about his team and as they continue to whittle that roster down to 53. Before we get into any specifics, a big change the last couple of years in terms of training camp practices, preseason practices from 10, 20, 30 years ago with the two-a-days. Do you think that has helped players remain healthy and remain a little bit more upbeat going into a season?
There is no doubt. These guys are bigger, stronger, faster. 2 days, I can't believe you even remember what that was all about. There was just injuries waiting to happen. The preseason was longer, and so by the end of the preseason, 20% of your team was already injured, and now you want to put the show on. It's really no good at all. They do much less hitting, much less serious work. This is much better for the athletes. Unfortunately, we made the season a little bit longer. So the relative rate of injury at the end of the season is probably unchanged.
Sure. All right, let's dive into some of the specifics here. In the first one, second-round pick, Patriots Thornton, the wide receiver who's looked pretty promising, seems to be out for 6 to 8 weeks according to reports. That will put him sort of in that October, maybe early November time frame. It was the second preseason game against the Panthers. He got that collarbone injury. What did you see out of that play, and what does his rehab look like from here on out?
Well, the difficulty is, where did he break the collarbone? And so in general, we say 6 to 8 weeks after we open it, put plates and screws on and close it, should be a good healing time. The problem is if it's one side or the other, or it's very comminuted, meaning multiple chips in there, then all bets are off. This could take much longer. We don't really know that. We don't know what the x-rays look like. We shouldn't know that. But if it's a straightforward, simple fracture, just line it up, put the plates and screws on, which was once an injury that the season was over, 6 to 8 weeks is right in the fat of the middle where the average athlete can come back and do very well.
So he's still a rookie, still a little thin and scrawny. He hasn't had that full professional offseason yet to add some weight to his frame. Does it matter that he is a little bit on the thinner side as opposed to a veteran that's in their 4th, 5th, 6th season?
Probably not in this area. You're not going to bulk this up very much. So it's just really, it's one of the most commonly broken bones. It just is what it is. The beauty is we change the way we treat them. Now we actually fix them, and the kids do so much better.
In terms of the X's and the O's, people that like to dive into the game, in terms of catch radius, mobility with the body, able to go up and get balls in the back of the end zone, is any of that limited after this injury, or should we expect, a full return to 100%?
Actually, it's better with this in the way they treated it. So in the old days, you would put them in a sling and you'd get stiff, and the fracture would definitely heal, but you couldn't do what you once did. If you're at this level, it was really hard to come back. Now with the plate and screws on, as soon as the skin heals, they're going to have that therapy going right away. He should really come back 100%. So that's the right way to treat him, and I'm looking for a great outcome.
All right, sticking to the offense now, running back Ty Montgomery carted off the field on Friday in the team's final preseason game out west against those Las Vegas Raiders. He's got an ankle injury. Bill Belichick saying today not season ending, so that's good news for the Patriots. But what do the next couple weeks look like for Montgomery, a veteran who does have some wear on those tires?
So I'm watching the video, and he's under about 20 players. Who knows what happened to that ankle? So as long as it's not broken, which it appears it's not, he's got 2 options. If it's his ankle, it either turns in or turns out. If it turns in, that's the standard ankle sprain we all get, and theoretically within a couple of weeks he'll be back. Everybody gets those injuries. We don't want if he turns it out and twists it out. That's the high ankle sprain, and the problem with that one is the injury goes into the ankle and up into the lower leg. Those take so much longer to recover from. They're much harder to recoup. So it's really, when Belichick's talking that way, you're thinking it's probably just a generic ankle sprain, inversion injury, rehab, little time, little PT. Hopefully he'll be back within a few weeks.
And if there are some setbacks, how long could that injury continue to sideline him if it is in a few weeks?
Yeah, well, if it's an inversion, I don't think it'll take very long. The fear always, and they're not going to say it, is if it's taking more than a few weeks, the fear is it's that external high ankle injury. Oh my Lord, that can go out several weeks. Those are bad injuries. injuries. It didn't seem, they would know it today. They would really know. He would be talking a different tune if it was that injury.
Sure. All right, so some positive news there for Ty Montgomery. Final thought for you, a little bit bigger picture here from here on out at all levels. College, as they begin to ramp up for games. High school, we see the injury fund game starting on Friday night, and then the season opener September 9th. Just what are some things to keep in mind for young football players as they gear up for regular season football?
Well, again, one is this crazy weather. It's finally getting a little bit more sane, but oh my God, that potential heat injuries, it's terrifying. These kids are all suited up. You know, it's 85 degrees out. They're really not in the condition to do this stuff. So we really worry about the kids playing. Now the temperature's starting to get a little bit better. And so as long as they're in good shape, they hydrate like crazy, there's really, I think we're okay to get the seasons going, and let's see what happens.
Another fall that we are back to normal. Thank God, fingers crossed that we make it through. Another hot fall coming up. All right, that's Dr. Paul Fadale from University Orthopedics. I'm Maury Hirsch-Gordon. We'll see Dr. Fadale throughout the season many more times here on 12 Sports.